You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
Three numbers before the open. KOSPI down 3.12%. Samsung down 8.70%. The won at 1,382.4 against the dollar. Samsung just announced its largest shareholder return plan ever, and the stock cratered anyway. SK Hynix countered with a 40 trillion won buyback, and the market rewarded it instantly. Foreign and institutional investors sold hard into the close, dragging the index below 6,700. And under the surface, KOSDAQ active ETFs are quietly loading up on semiconductor equipment names. It's Tuesday, August 25th. Here's what today's story could mean for the Korean market. Samsung Electronics unveiled a shareholder return plan worth 90 to 110 trillion won, more than 5 times its previous annual record. But a legal cap under the Financial Industry Restructuring Act limits how much stock it can retire. Because Samsung Life and Samsung Fire together hold close to 10% of Samsung Electronics common shares, large-scale buybacks push their combined stake over the regulatory ceiling and force additional forced share sales. SK Hynix faces no such constraint, since retiring shares only raises parent SK Square's stake, which is required to stay above 20% anyway. Here's what the numbers show. Samsung Electronics fell 8.70% to close at 257,000 won after investors judged the buyback and cancellation portion too small. SK Hynix dropped only 3.41% to 1,671,000 won after confirming a 40 trillion won buyback covering 24.07 million shares. The KOSPI shed 215.99 points, or 3.12%, to close at 6,696.96, as foreign and institutional investors sold in tandem with the Samsung slide. The won strengthened to 1,382.4 per dollar, an 11-month low, on the back of a 71.5% jump in corporate dollar selling last quarter. 3 KOSDAQ active ETFs raised their semiconductor equipment weighting above 50%, with net inflows of about 19.2 billion won over the past month. So what does this mean for stock investors? Earlier, we flagged Samsung's crash despite a record buyback. Here's what that actually means for you. The disappointment was about capital structure, not fundamentals, since the memory upcycle driving profits is intact. SK Hynix's sharper reward for a simpler buyback shows the market is currently pricing governance flexibility as much as earnings. Watch the won-driven KOSDAQ equipment rotation into names like TESS and PSK Holdings for signs of where flows go next once the Samsung and SK Hynix headlines settle. That's today's AI Prism, Stock Investors. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a WON IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.